Hello everybody and welcome to the Japanese Grand Prix. We're now about to have the lights go out. We are at 5 lights. It's lights out and away we go. Querbel off to a bad start, Victor getting a good start, and Will just behind him looking to put the pressure on down in turn 1. DRS wide open for the McLaren driver into the first turn. It's absolute chaos, as it looks like Victor's got a good exit out of the second turn here, getting ahead of Will at the early stages of this lap. Will with a bit of a lead here, but I'm sure nothing that Will can't make back up. Into the Mickey Mouse section, it's very tight for the drivers. Will's very close as JDT finds himself out of this Grand Prix, crashing there at the first hurdle almost. So we look at Querbel, also not a good start from him. Victor sliding out of the way from that turn. It will be these two neck and neck, both trading a purple sector, and Leon just behind them also with a good sector. So just see how bad Querbel's gone from second on the grid right down into 8th behind KO there. Victor starting off with an early lead there, but it's still just Will right behind him in this second sector. In fact, ahead of him now, leapfrogging ahead down into the fast left-hand turn here.
As we head into 130R now, Will leading into the double apex corner. And it is Leon with a brilliant couple of exit corners. As we head into the fast right-hander that leads into 2E corner, even Vic getting a good exit, as he will have DRS on Will, and who is going to be leading is Will by a 10th, as we have a scrap for P1 between Leon, Victor, and Will. As Vic is on the back foot, as Will leads the Grand Prix, is Leon in second into the Mickey Mouse section, as we are on board now. Victor getting a good launch right there on Leon into the slow left, as it is Will still leading purple sector 1. KO gets a purple sector 1 now, as we see Vic and Leon. Leon hits the wall a bit, and that leads Vic into a P2, as Will still leads with a 6/10 advantage.
Yeah, great from the McLaren driver so far to get up in the lead. Victor there hitting a bit of a bump, giving Leon maybe a chance to get back. I think that was Fire in for an early pit stop, so not what he would want at the start of this Grand Prix. Victor though, with DRS wide open, looking to gain back on Will, but he doesn't have enough on him. As now we look at Leon getting very cozy there with the barriers almost, getting a bit of a tap on his rear left tyre, I think that was, out of that turn, which brings KO right into his hands to go for an overtake here. It is purple so far from Will, really going to push the limits, but right now Leon looking to be struggling slightly in the early stages of this race. KO, very quick driver as we have seen before, looking to get back at him. It's actually a penalty warning there, as Leon massively into the barrier there, almost going into the other one across the road, and now KO looking to get ahead. He's lucky to be still in this race, Leon, after that close call with the barrier, but he looks to be struggling still. Maybe not enough downforce on the rear. Victor?
As the Season 6 World Champion gets past Leon, the Antarctic cars have brought upgrades to this race week, but they are not working well out the side pods. It's not really a place for aerodynamics, but that is where the car is normally built for aerodynamics.
Yeah, not quite working out so far. So Leon out of that turn, taking a bit of a hit on the barrier. Maybe the car not having the aerodynamics, as previously stated, Wick, to round these turns as effectively as he may want. Hitting the barrier yet again, so not good for the Antarctic driver.
As Vic right here, heading into corner, he's lost his front wing. That will lose him downforce around this tight corner and bit of track, as he is being chased by KO now. He is, of course, not going to be faster because he doesn't have as much downforce, proved right there, as he heads into the hairpin. KO now chasing him into the left-right. He will probably not have enough downforce, so he'll have to slow down more. But he somehow gets him on the exit, but KO will have more speed, and, well, I don't think Victoria will be using the RS, but he is. That is how much he wants this race win or podium, as he has a snap of oversave. The race win isn't probably going to happen. I'm just going to be honest to him. He hits a nice apex there as we head up into the fast right, that leads into two-E corner. Hopefully he won't do a two-E, as in last season, as he will enter the pits for a quick pit stop, hopefully.
As we look there at Mr. Audi into a barrier, then a first retirement for the Audi driver. It's not good on his debut race, but his teammate will continue to try and hopefully pick up some points for his team. As we now see Victor chasing down Querbel here for the final podium position. He's looking to get ahead after his mistake, which led to his front wing coming off and the great reduction in downforce though. Still, out of that corner, not the best from the Haas driver, looking to make an overtake, but he's just not quite got the speed at the moment to get past Querbel. He should be alright though, with DRS wide open through these very fast left and right turns. As we now see Victor and Querbel side by side down the downhill braking zone. It's good so far for Victor. He's managed to get ahead of the Antarctic Racing driver, who will be under threat shortly, surely. From the charging Leon behind him. Round 2-y corner onto the final straight, both drivers managing to avoid crashing. As now we see Querbel a little bit slow through there, and he's picked up some damage on his front wing, lost his front wing. It will be Math behind him to try and chase him down, as he will be slow through these very high speed corners, and hoping a good overtake actually there from the Audi driver to get ahead of Querbel, who dives into the pits for a stop. Now look at Leon, I think, without a front wing, and he's clipped the wall there by a margin, spun out, and that's not great for the Antarctic driver. He'll be looking to come in at the end of this lap, because of course he will need to replace that front wing, and he may find himself under pressure from his teammate. As now we've talked about this previously, it will be a battle between the Antarctic Racing drivers here. Both of them still in the race, surprisingly to a few, but it's been a good drive from both of them despite their front wing issues. As Querbel down the Mickey Mouse section looks to go down the inside, and he's managed to get ahead of his teammate of Leon there. It will be a bit of traffic for, I think that is Chaos, looking to continue, as that's Querbel into a barrier, and as well as Math. As now, it's been a very dominant display from that man there, skidding around the track. He can do as he pleases, really, with the margin he's got to his teammate, drifting around that final corner, final hairpin, sorry. So it's been a dominant display for Will Martin, who, what a surprise, yet again, will come home past 2-y corner to win his 4th Grand Prix of this season. It is Will Martin, your race winner, followed by his teammate, Chaoxify. Leon jumping over the line there, and he hasn't actually touched it. That could be a very good advantage for Math, who should be just rounding the final corner now, which we can see him doing. He's skidded into a barrier there. He might have lost his front wing, but he kept it going. Leon will cross the line, taking home 4th position. Math will then cross it next, taking home 5th for a good race for the Audi team. At least on his side of the garage anyway, with his teammate DNFing earlier on this race. It will be Victor rounding the final few turns, going past 2-y corner now. A 3rd place race for the Haas driver. Good stuff in the last race for Haas cars. As we look now at the standings, the results of the race. It's Will Martin taking home a dominant display to head a McLaren 1-2. With Chaoxify, his British teammate, rounding out the 2nd spot on the podium. Victor rounding out the podium as a whole as in the Haas, not really converting from his pole, but I mean, considering the dominance of the season from Will Martin, it's to be expected, really. Leon putting a good performance in for the Antarctic Racing team, taking it home the fastest lap point, as well as 4th position for the Indonesian there. It will be Math coming in 5th there. Better race than his teammate, who did DNF quite early on in the Grand Prix, with Querbel managing to finish a race, getting some points on the board. It isn't the most, but it certainly is something at least for the Antarctic driver. As previously mentioned, Mr. Audi there DNFing alongside Firebomb and JDT this Grand Prix. As we now head to the drivers' standings, it will be yet again Will Martin just expanding his lead yet again this season, up now to 119 points, Quite dominant so far from the McLaren driver. Victoria in second place, no movement really in the top four, with Leon staying third and Dennis up in fourth. It will be Math up ahead of Jamal finally to take fifth position off the Palestinian, I believe. Chaoxify going up to seventh on his very great first race for this season. We've seen brilliance from him before, but it will take quite a lot of persistence and attendance to try and fight his teammate there, with Alex the Gamer now down into 8th, and Querbel getting himself up on the board, going into 9th position with 8 points, despite having 5 races, only managing to finish one of them. And we now take a look at the team standings. It will be McLaren back in the lead of the Constructors' Championship. It's 137 points for the McLaren team. Very good display from them after their 1-2. Haas now down back to second. Despite their many podiums, it's still not enough to get ahead of what can be said is the one-man band of McLaren, despite KO turning up this race. But it is BMW Antarctic Racing now ahead of AlphaTauri, finally getting ahead, with both drivers scoring points in the last race, and Audi Racing closing the gap further on AlphaTauri, just 5 points behind, with BMW rounding out the Constructors' Grid, being the only other team to officially score points this season. Thank you very much for watching today's Grand Prix, and we hope to see you next week, where we'll be in Canada.